Hello, beautiful people. Picture this, a sunny day, a stunning basketball court by the sea in Porto, Portugal, and a moment frozen in time. This is not just a shot. It's a story of connection, passion, and the universal language of basketball. Let's break it down. And trust me, it's gonna rock your photography world. This shot was taken in October near the Castelo do Queijo. I was wandering through Matosinhos, heading toward the sea, when I came across this court. And then I met Bernardo. Bernardo, a guy from Portugal, and I instantly clicked over our shared love for basketball. He was playing, enjoying the game like so many of us do. I asked if I could take a shot and he agreed. What you see here is that very moment, the ball in midair, the action frozen in time. In the composition, Bernardo is positioned on the right side of the photo, while the hoop is on the left. The ball is seen flying toward the hoop, perfectly capturing the intensity of the moment. If Bernardo ever watches this video, thank you. And hey, I'll be happy to send you a print of this photo, because moments like these, they deserve to be shared. Alright, let's talk about the technical side of this shot, because every setting I chose had a purpose. I shot this on my Sony A6600, which is an APS-C camera, meaning the focal length of any lens needs to be multiplied by 1.5x to get the full frame equivalent field of view. The lens I used was the Sony 18-105mm f4GOSS. And for this shot, I was at 18mm, which gives a 27mm full frame equivalent field of view. That means I had a relatively wide perspective, like great for capturing both the player and the court, while still keeping the ocean and skyline in view. The aperture was set to f/5.6, the ISO at 100, and I went for a shutter speed of 1/1250 of a second to freeze the action. And of course, auto-white balance kept the colors natural under the bright midday sun. So why these settings? Before we continue, let's take a quick break. Let's start with the aperture, f/5.6. I didn't want an extreme depth of field where everything is in focus like a landscape shot, but I also didn't want a shallow depth of field that would blur out the background too much. The goal was to keep Bernardo and the basketball hoop crisp and clear, while still showing enough detail in the background to tell the full story. Now, shutter speed 1/1250 of a second. Basketball is all about movement, and I needed to freeze that motion. A slower shutter speed could have introduced the motion blur, especially with the ball midair. At 1/1250 of a second, I locked in that perfect sharp moment, making sure everything looked dynamic and full of energy. And ISO 100, easy choice here. It was a bright sunny day, so I didn't need to boost my camera sensitivity. Keeping the ISO low meant a clean image with no noise. And since my shutter speed was so high, I didn't need to compensate with a higher ISO. Then there's the lens choice. The Sony 18-105mm f4GOSS was the perfect tool for this shot because of its flexibility. Since I was using it on an APS-C sensor, the 18mm focal length acted like a 27mm full frame equivalent, giving me that wide immersive look while still maintaining good subject separation. Plus, the built-in optical steady shot, OSS, helped keep everything stable, even though I was shooting at a high speed. And finally, white balance. I used the auto white balance because the midday sun was pretty straightforward. No weird mixed lighting, no dramatic shifts. Auto white balance did a great job keeping everything looking natural. If I had been shooting closer to sunset, I might have gone manual to warm up the tones, but for this, auto worked perfectly. The composition? I followed the rule of thirds, placing Bernardo on the right and the hoop on the left to create a strong sense of movement and anticipation. And I made sure to enhance the depth of the shot, balancing the sky, the foreground and the court, so that everything works together to tell the story. Before I wrap up the technical part, let's take another quick break. Basketball and photography, two things that have always made me feel good. Growing up, I spent countless hours playing basketball, watching NBA games, and getting inspired by legends like Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Magic Johnson, and so many more. For me, it doesn't matter if it's a game in the NBA, a street match in the neighborhood, or a Harlem Globetrotters show. Basketball is basketball, and it brings people together. And that's exactly what happened that day in Porto. But beyond the nostalgia and admiration, let me tell you why I love basketball. It's not just about the game or the point. It's about the feel of the ball in my hands, the rhythm of bouncing it on the court, the sound it makes when it hits the backboard or swishes through the net. There's something incredibly grounding about it. When I step onto a court, whether I'm playing alone or with someone else, I enter a completely different headspace. It's almost meditative. I can disconnect from stress, from overthinking, from the noise of everyday life. Whether I'm shooting free throws or chasing rebounds, my mind clears. And when I'm alone, it's just me, the ball, the hoop, and silence. That silence is powerful. It gives me space to think, or not to think at all. Basketball also connects me to people. Even on that court in Porto, with someone I had just met, Bernardo, we didn't need to say much. The game spoke for us. That moment we shared was simple and pure and joyful. So, yeah, basketball makes me feel alive, grounded, peaceful and connected all at once. And that's why it's so meaningful to me. Coming from Milano, living in Switzerland and having spent time in London, I'm used to grey days. But when the sun shines like it did that day in Porto, man, it's magical. This shot brought back all those years of playing, all those moments of pure joy on the court. And meeting Bernardo just reinforced how this sport connects us, no matter where we're from. If any basketball players or teams happen to be watching this video, I'd love to take some photos for you. Capturing the energy and beauty of the game through photography is something I'm passionate about, and I'd be thrilled to collaborate. This isn't just a photo of a guy playing basketball, it's a snapshot of shared passion, a connection across countries, and for that I'm grateful. Bernardo, if you're out there, I hope I got your name right. And if you see this, hit me up. I'd love to send you a print. Photography isn't just about capturing light, it's about capturing stories. And this is one of them. If you enjoyed this breakdown and love seeing the stories behind my photos, smash that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What's your favorite basketball memory? Let's talk hoops and photography. I love basketball. See you in the next one. Ciao.